And at that point, there is this giant panda head. To say that it freaked me out would be the absolute understatement of the century. Hey folks, welcome to the channel.
Hello.
So today is the World Music collaboration organised by Lula from Nerd Goblin Art and Karen from the Dragon's Cave.
Yeah.
Now, I had an excellent idea.
An excellent idea.
I did.
Okay.
It was that excellent that I was actually quite impressed with myself.
Wow.
However, that's where the good news for this video ends.
What do you mean?
Well, as we go through it, you will discover for yourself. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make an AquaCast skull.
Okay.
Now, AquaCast is an eco powder that if anybody has been on this channel for any length of time will know that AquaCast is my eco resin of choice. And I mixed up, I think it was 300 grams of powder and 105 grams of water, but I could just be making that up completely. It sounds about right.
What, that you're making it up?
No, that's what I used. And then you give it a really good stir and a little bit more of a stir.
When you think you've stirred it enough,
you give it another stir.
give it some more stirring.
Yeah, because what you don't want to have is lumpy powder in the bottom.
Unmixed.
Well, that would be lumpy powder, wouldn't it? Listen, you've never made AquaCast.
I haven't, no, because you won't let me touch it.
Because it's quite a messy substance, and you are, how can I put this?
Super tidy.
The most untidy crafter I've ever come across.
I doubt that.
I'm pretty confident. Anyway, so once I'd mixed it to my satisfaction,
okay,
I then poured it into the skull mould. Now this is a large skull mould.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
That's not the biggest one we've got, though, is it?
No, but it is large. No, we've got one that's a little bit bigger. And the reason I know that we've got one that's a little bit bigger is because the one that's a bit bigger takes 400.
Okay.
So there you go.
And how do you know that?
Because I might have made it.
Because you've catalogued it.
Yes. Yes, I have.
Along with a photo.
Yes.
And the location of said mould within the craft room.
Yes.
On a Trello board.
Yes. So you're saying all these things like it's a negative thing.
No, I'm not.
But
I'm just saying.
I actually think it's a little moment of genius that I had.
A little moment of genius.
Yes, I have them sometimes, and that was one of them. Like the idea for this video, little moment of genius.
And your idea for the other video.
However, unlike this video, the Trello was executed to perfection. I digress. So, once I had filled the mould up, I give it a good tap.
For quite some time.
I did, and Kirk's left in a bit of the tapping.
I've left in lots of the tapping.
But there was a lot more tapping than that.
There was.
There was lots. I think I watched like 2 videos whilst I was tapping.
Yeah, but that is it to remove the bubbles because it doesn't naturally degas.
It doesn't naturally self-level, and it doesn't naturally degas as such. It does degas very well, but you have to tap the bubbles to the top. Now, my next task whilst the AquaCast was setting was I took this lizard mould and I got a little bit of Sculpting. What was that?
What?
It sounded like you made a noise then, my dear.
No.
Are you sure?
That doesn't sound like something I would do.
Well, it sounded very much like a noise. It sounded like a deep sigh.
Maybe.
I don't feel that's appropriate.
Why?
Show some encouragement and some enthusiasm.
Okay.
Now,
yay!
I put some Sculpey into the...
Oh dear. Was that not it?
I put some Sculpey into the tail part of the lizard. I mixed up 20 grams of resin, and then I added some of the Diamond Marabou ink. With hindsight, possibly a little bit too much, but the problem is with that particular ink is you add a little bit and my brain goes, ooh, shiny. And then I add a bit more and all the while my brain is going, ooh, shiny. And it just keeps going. So I inevitably add smidgen too much. But
are you saying you had too much shiny in there?
That's not what I said at all.
That's
not what I said at all. And how you took that from what I just said is a mystery. Anyhow, you digress. I poured it into the tail. And at that point, my skull was ready to demould.
Okay.
So
this was what? Hour? Hour and a half?
I think it's probably about an hour and a half because I think I went and had some lunch in between.
Ooh.
I was quite hungry.
Right.
So, at this point, I demould the skull.
Yeah.
And it was that. It's not the easiest thing to demould, but
it's not the most difficult.
But it's
either.
not the most difficult at all.
No,
that's well, I don't know. There's a bit of a toss up at the moment. But yeah, he came out quite well. I was pleased.
I love the feel of the AquaCast. It's just, I could that skull. If you did one of those, I could actually just sit there and just stroke the skull.
And you have.
I have.
I know you have.
Yeah.
So what I want to do with him is just let him dry out for a good couple of days because it's quite a solid piece of AquaCast. I wanted to make sure, and I'm going to cover him with something else. I want to make sure that he is 100% dry. So between that stage and the next bit for him, there's a good couple of days.
Yeah.
So then it's back to the tail end of the lizard, where
with the too much sparkle.
Anyway, where I add some of these little I don't know what you call them, charms. They're like music notes. I think there's a microphone and a guitar, I think.
Other musical things.
Yeah, musical things, basically.
Okay.
But I didn't want them to sink, so I waited until the resin had sort of started to cure before I added them. And that was just some leftover resin that I added some silver into. So that'll just be an extra that goes in my free gift box.
In the free gift box?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was worthy of the free gift box.
Yeah. What, did you think that was the Bruno box? No. So I then took out this is that evening, and I demoulded it, and yeah, there was a little bit too much sparkle in there, but it kind of did what I wanted it to do. But I wasn't happy with the use of clay.
I'm not happy with the use of clay.
Why not?
That's a waste of clay.
Oh, shush. So, I made a second one exactly the same way.
By the powers of YouTube.
By the powers of YouTube magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've now got 2 of them. So, this is 2 days, possibly 3 days later, actually. And the idea that I had was the tail of the lizard I thought looked worm-like. What are you laughing at?
No, go on.
So I'm making an earworm. That's a musical term.
It is.
And I personally often get earworms.
And then you just randomly walk around the house singing. The other day, I was in the kitchen.
We don't need to tell that story.
I was in the kitchen the other day, and you just walked past singing Baby Shark.
I don't know why.
It was like nice and quiet, and then all of a sudden you just walk past, and literally you just burst into song, Baby Shark.
I don't know why that happened, but it does. I I get earworms and I can't help
I know, and
but
then I
sing
start
them.
singing some earworms, and then you start swearing at me.
I do, because you sing some of them on purpose.
Yeah.
Or you play them on purpose, knowing it's going to just force me to randomly sing them.
Yeah. But then you've also got the other side of it, where you have you hear a song, and no matter how hard you try, you cannot help it but sing.
I don't have that at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Really? That
Okay.
doesn't sound like me at all.
Really? Because there's some songs in a Disney film that you.
Apart from that song, apart from that one.
Oh, so there is.
No, okay, apart from that one. So, my idea was to make an earworm. So, excellent idea, I felt.
Yeah.
Very representative of me.
Yeah, and music orientated as well.
Exactly.
Which is
So
good for
it meets
the music collab.
the collaboration.
Yep.
Now, that's where the project falls down,
Why?
because I took the skull and I don't know why, but my idea was to make that skull, to add the face to it.
Yeah.
And well, let's see how it goes. So my ears, well, they're not my ears. Didn't I name him?
Eric.
I did. I named him Eric. So I've come to the conclusion I'm not great at making ears. It was quite the.
I did say to you at the time while you were doing this, they were sticking out far too much.
Herein lies the problem. I stupidly took advice from Kirk, who, let's face it, can't do hands, feet, faces, including ears. So I was really. It was kind of. I was really.
Well,
Well, I should have just.
Hold on.
What I should have just done.
No, after you've
gone-
watched this, let us know whether Nikki can do faces.
Well, that's rude. I think you'll find that my face is an eclectic face.
An eclectic face?
Yes.
Of what?
It's modern art.
Oh, okay. It's an abstract face.
It's abstract. Anyway, my theory is sound.
I thought your idea was awesome.
So if you are a more skilled clay crafter than I am, you could actually do this and have some success.
Yeah, I thought this was really good because you saw a video, didn't you?
So what I'm doing is I'm adding the fat pads. So your natural inclination when you build a face is to have the skull, then put the muscles on, and then put the fat pads on. But if you actually look at someone's face, it's not the muscles that you see, it's the fat pads. So if someone's got a really fat face, it's because they've got giant fat pads.
Okay.
If they've got a very skinny face, it's because their fat pads are very small. And when you get older, you kind of lose cohesion in your fat pads and your face droops. So it made sense to put the fat pads onto the skull.
Yeah.
Which is what I do.
Yeah, and I thought that was a really good idea.
Yes. See, my idea is genius. My execution, well, you can decide. But I'm definitely sticking with my story that it's a very abstract face.
So you put the cheek pads, the chin, the bun chin.
So I've put the temporal fat pad.
Yeah.
I've put the chin on.
Yeah.
I've put the what are these called? I can't remember.
Orbital.
No, that's your orbital's your eye.
Well, underneath your.
No, this bit isn't that. I can't remember what it's called.
I don't know.
Oh dear.
If only they could see what you're pointing at.
I'm pointing at the. If you smile, you get those little lines on the side of your face. I'm pointing at those.
Okay.
I can't remember what they're called, but I've put those on. Then I put some onto the temporal lobes.
Yeah.
And then it's onto the eyes.
So these are the
bags under the eyes.
Yeah.
So
if you got bags under your eyes, it's those little guys there.
It's those little guys there. Well, actually, it's not. Bags under your eyes are generally caused by very thin skin between the underneath of your eye, and it's also quite genetic.
Okay.
There you go.
Wow.
See? Every day's a school day. You're
Well,
welcome.
yeah. Not
So-
just crafting, but learning as well.
Oh,
Let's
shush.
learn with Nikki.
Oh, shush you. Do you think you're funny?
Yes, I do.
Well, no.
Uh-huh.
So, I then used more of Kirk's clay
So much
to
clay.
make... I know, I used absolutely loads
I
of
know.
it. I used almost half...
I had to make another order.
You did. But I don't remember using any yellow or blue or any of the other colours that you ordered. Anyhow,
No, because you don't use those. I ordered more of those.
so I sent him off to be baked with the baker man.
Yeah, it was basically, Kirk, my head needs baking.
That's exactly what I said. Yeah.
And I was like, with pleasure.
Yes, you did actually. You did actually say that.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of a struggle when he tried to put me in the oven, and I explained that that's not what I wanted. And he
I
did.
know he wouldn't let me get the saw.
And he wouldn't. He sulked for a little bit when I explained that that's not appropriate behaviour.
Yeah.
But you know,
Tis for Gloucester.
we got it. We got over it. Moved on. And then when it came back to me, we have got this cosplay that is skin coloured.
Yeah, it's called cosplay doll.
Yeah.
Is it baby doll?
No, it's just cosplay doll, I think.
No, there's different
Oh,
shades.
Well, I don't know. That was just the palest one I could get.
Skin
Skin
colour.
colour.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not going to lie. When I was doing this, I was actually freaking myself out because it reminded me of like a horror film.
That's unlike you because you don't watch horror films.
No, but if there was a horror film, that's what I imagine that it would be like. I was proper, this is creepy. I thought, I can't go to bed yet. I stayed up really late doing this because I thought, I can't go to bed yet with this in here like that. I won't sleep. So I had to get it.
Because you'll walk up in the morning and be there looking at you.
Yeah. And I just thought, I mean, let's be honest, it's not beyond the realms of possibility that you would actually pick it up and put it on the pillow next to me.
I don't know what you mean. I would never do anything like that.
Anyway.
Although I have got a giant panda head that I leave lying around.
That freaks me out. He really has. Right? Don't ask me why, but Kirk has a giant panda head. And the other night, I woke up, I was very, very thirsty. So I donned my dressing gown, and we've got automatic lights that come on, and they come on quite dull in the night time.
Yeah, so they don't wake anybody else up.
But just enough that you can sort of go downstairs and, you know.
Yeah.
So I donned my dressing gown, I'm going down the stairs, I'm half asleep, and I'm really thirsty. And I happen to look at the front door, and at that point, there is this giant panda head. To say that it freaked me out would be the absolute understatement of the century.
Yeah.
There was an exclamation
There was
of fear.
an eek.
There was an eek. And I'm not, honestly, there's not a judge in the land that would say that wasn't justifiable. Had I have gone back to bed and smothered him in his sleep.
With the panda head.
With the panda head. Because it was touch and go for a minute, I can tell you.
Just to be clear, it is a part of a costume. It's like it's you actually wear the panda head.
Can I just say that
Yeah.
that's not actually making it any better that you have a panda head from a panda costume.
Why?
Because people are now going to think you're a Furby.
A
Is
Furby?
Is it a Furby?
No, a Furby. It was one of those little toys. You mean a furry?
That's the ones. They're going to think you're one of them. And by association, therefore, so am I. He's not, and neither am I.
Yes.
I am not. Don't. What is wrong with you?
When you brought it up.
I'm just saying, he was given it as a joke by someone he used to work with.
No, my lad had it. I took it into work as a joke.
Why?
Why what?
Just
Why
why?
did he have it, or why did I take it in for a joke?
Just why
These
is
are
it...
very good questions.
All I want to know is why is it in our house?
Well, you hid it.
I've hid it again.
She hid it, but
He found it.
I did find it because you hid it in a suitcase.
I did. I hid it in the one suitcase we don't use.
And my daughter
Has borrowed the
has
suitcase.
borrowed that suitcase, so I opened it up and I was like, oh! And I did the little dolphin thing.
You did. That's yeah. It's gonna be yeah. I've hidden it again.
Okay, that's all right.
Anyhow, back to my
what you
my
doing?
freaky man. So I've put his skin on.
Yeah.
I've kind of shaped his ears a little bit, but truth be told, I gave up with the ears because I'm going to cover them with a worm.
Yeah. But I think that so far, the what you've done with the face there, I think is really good. I think that's awesome.
You're just being nice.
No, I'm not. If
Yeah,
it was
you are.
rubbish, I'd say that's rubbish.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, I thought I'm just going to give him a little bit of
5 o'clock shadow.
5 o'clock shadow because he's got a mohawk. Because he is...
Why does...
What?
Just because he's got a mohawk, that means he has to have a beard?
No, he hasn't got a beard. He's got a 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah, but you said because he's got a mohawk...
Well, you didn't let me finish. You want to let me finish?
Go on then.
He is a 1980s punk.
Okay.
Because that's kind of where I went with it.
Okay.
And 1980s punks had 5 o'clock shadows. Always.
See, my mate was a 1980s punk.
No, he wasn't.
He was.
No, he wasn't.
He was.
No, he wasn't.
He had some like massive spikes on his head, which he covered in super glue so they would actually stay up.
Yeah, but no, as you point out, you're too young. All the time.
This is true.
Well then, he wasn't a 1980s punk. He was a 1980s wannabe punk, but he wasn't an actual punk. Okay?
Okay.
So there. Anyway, I decided that my punk, my actual 1980s punk, was going to have some very colourful hair.
Yes.
And
That's not my paint either, so I'm happy with that.
it is your paint. It's your neon paints.
Yeah, but I don't use those very often.
That's because you forget you've got them.
I do actually, yeah, because you've hid them in the cupboard.
I didn't hide them in the cupboard. They're perfectly within sight. If you're
If
looking,
you open the cupboard.
if you're looking in that direction. And
If you're looking in the cupboard,
yes.
that's where they are.
Yes, but what normally happens is you don't look in any cupboard. You just go, where's my whatever it is?
Yeah.
And I tell you, and then you open the door and go, I can't find it. Then you close the door and I find it.
Do you find that really, really annoying?
Like you wouldn't believe.
As in, I want to find something, and you know exactly where it is, but when you want to find something, you haven't got a clue.
Now that you put it that way, it is a little bit, yeah, it is a little bit annoying. Now, I gave my punk some blue lips, but to be honest, I wasn't in love with the blue lips.
No.
Um,
And those eyes.
I thought the eyes were okay at this point because I thought, he's got worms coming out of his ears. Of course he's going to look a bit shocked, but apparently he has to have eyelids. So I gave him some. But in a minute.
Who's that helpful chappy there?
That is Kirk.
Oh, look. One day you will actually get that pen the right way round first time.
What, like this time? There you go.
No,
right way
because
round.
you know where it is now.
Yeah.
Every single time you'd like shining it in your eyes.
Well, yes. A little bit. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
So, I've attached the worms. So one's going up and over his head, and one's going down and...
Yeah, because the actual positioning of those was quite traumatic.
Why was it traumatic?
Because you were like, should I put them there? No, I'm going to put that one there. What if I put that one there? What if I have them both coming out one ear? What about if I put them like that? No, that looks like horns. That looks like tusks.
It's because by the time I got to the point of attaching the worms, I wasn't 100% in love with the project because I didn't think that I felt that my idea was better than my skill level, and I was right. So that was why I was like, I don't want to make it any
It's
worse.
better than one of the faces I've done.
Well, there is that. So on the worm, I put a little face.
Yeah.
He's got a little face, look.
He has.
And I put one on the other worm as well.
Those eyes just staring into your soul.
Well, he's got worms coming out of his ears. I would imagine he is a little bit freaked out. So, yeah. But there he is. There's his little face.
Oh, he looks quite cute.
They are cute. I mean, I don't want worms coming out of my ears, but they are quite cute. But I wasn't happy with the blue lips, so I went over them with some red.
Bit of red lippy.
Yeah, bit of red, and I was a bit less unhappy. I think is probably the best way to put it.
I hated it a little bit less.
Yeah. Now I gave him some eyelids, and if I was like a normal female, I would possibly own fake.
Oh, fake eyelashes.
Fake eyelashes.
Yeah.
But I don't, because that's not my thing. So
No.
what I did is I gave him some guy liner.
Guy liner, yeah.
Because back in the 80s, if you were a guy, you guy lined. Didn't you?
I didn't.
Well, see, I rest my case. You weren't a proper 80s punk.
No.
And neither was your friend. Did he guy line? No, he didn't.
I can't remember, to be honest.
I bet you he didn't. So I also gave him some earrings.
I'll ask him.
No, you won't.
I'll message him and
say,
in the 80s,
did you wear guy liner?
Did you wear guy liner? Ask him for a friend.
Okay. So after I'd given him an earring and I had UV'd his eyes to make him look a little bit more
freaky,
I just sent him off to the glamour shots. Yeah. And there he is. There is Eric with his earworm.
In all his glory.
In all his glory.
In his 80s glory.
In his 80s glory with his earworms.
And his 5 o'clock shadow.
Yes, and his earrings.
Yeah.
So, there is a playlist in the description for the collaboration. Thanks again to Lula and Karen for organising it.
Yeah.
Make sure you do check out that playlist because there's quite a few people taking part, and I promise you most of them, if not all, will be far superior to this one. But thank you for hanging in there and, if nothing else, giving us the pity view. We appreciate it. If you feel that our creative chaos is worth that pity like, please do feel free to hit the like button.
Yeah. And while you're down there pitying us, maybe give that little sobbing subscribe button a little love.
A little jingle.
A little tickle.
Little jingle.
Little jingle. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, jingle.
I see what you did there.
Yeah,
that was very funny.
I know.
Well done.
And if you already have...
Thank you very much.
So it's just... Every time that sounds so wrong. Dear, oh dear.
That's not the first time that you've said that to me.
That's true. It's probably not going to be the last either, is it? No. Let's be honest. It's not going to be the last.
No.
Anyhow, thank you so much for watching. And do check out that playlist. And hopefully we will see you in the next one.
Yeah.
Have a great weekend, folks.
Yeah, enjoy the playlist.
Bye.
Bye for now.